So today we are moving on to the lambda function. Actually, even in the functions also we are having many things like when passing parameters, without parameters. Okay, so likewise default parameters. Likewise, we are having many things in functions. Okay, go through that, you will be able to understand that.
Okay.
Okay, so in today's class we are going to learn about the lambda function. Okay, lambda function, we can say that it is a anonymous function. Okay, you can say that it is a anonymous function, which means the function without name. Okay, function without name. Okay, previously how do we create a function? Tell me, how do we create a function normally?
First, we'll define it.
Def, it is a keyword, it's a must one. Then we will provide a function name.
Yeah.
Right. So okay. So add. Then we are going to add some two numbers, which means a comma b. Then return a plus b. So this is how we have done our function. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So in lambda function, what we will be doing is we will not have any function name. We will be using only the keyword. How it will be like lambda. Okay. Then sorry, attributes or parameters. Okay. Arguments, colon, then expression. This is how your lambda function syntax will look like. Okay, if you don't need any function name, or if you're going to use some anonymous function inside any of your function, means you can use the lambda function here. Okay, so let's see an example for lambda function. Let's have a variable x equal to, I'm going to create a lambda function here, LAMBD. You can pass many arguments. Okay, it can be 1, 2, 3. Likewise, you can pass any arguments. Okay, here I'm going to pass a comma b. Okay, then colon, and what this function is going to do. Okay, so you have to provide that inside the expression. Okay, here a plus b. Okay, so as for this, how will we call the function? For this, how will we call the function?
Print.
No. How do we call the function? We have defined the function. How do we call the function? With the help of function name. Okay. With the help of function name. Add. If there is a parameters inside the function, you have to provide the values for the parameters. 5, 3. Okay. So this is how we will call the function. Am I right? So here, how we will call the function is, we will be using x bracket 3, 4. Okay. Here also, let's use print. Now, run this program. It provides the output. Here, what will happen is the expression will be, the answer will be stored in the x. Okay. So, as for passing the values for a comma b, we will pass the values to the x here. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, where and all we can use lambda function is when you are going to work on pandas and all, you will be using lambda functions there. Okay. So with the lambda function, what are the things we will be discussing today is map, filter, reduce. Okay. So this is the syntax for lambda function. So if you're having some string, okay, for example, if you're having some string, if you want to print that, you can print the string there using the lambda function. You don't need to create a separate function for that. Okay. So do you have any doubts in lambda function?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move on to map, reduce, filter. Okay. Map, reduce, filter. Okay. So can you tell me the how to create a list?
List. We'll give the name.
Okay. Name of the list. Okay. Let's have a list of colors. Okay. Then square brackets.
Yeah.
Okay. So inside the square bracket, we will be providing the values for the list. All right. Red, green, blue, yellow. So we are having the colors here. Okay. So what you can do is you can add you're going to add some new values to the list. How can you do that?
Append.
Append. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty list. Okay. I want to copy all the elements into the empty list. How you can do that? I'm
Append.
having new colors equal to, this is empty list. Okay. Now I want to add these elements into my empty list. How can you do that?
Using append command.
Okay. Can you tell me the code?
Yeah. Append.
Append. Okay. Append.
Colors, like in bracket.
In bracket. Colors. Will work?
Yeah.
Where you are going to append the colors?
In new colors.
So how can we write that? How can we write that? You can even refer the net, no issues.
Print.
Print, no. You are going to append the values inside the new colors. Okay. How your system will find you're going to append some new values inside new list. How can you hint your system? Okay. So if you're going to add values inside the list, what you will do? First, you will provide the list name. In which list you are going to append the value. Then you will be using the dot operator. Then you will use the append function. And then you can enter the values, whichever value you want to enter into the list. Okay. So, but here what I am going to do is I'm going to add the elements from the list colors to my new colors. Okay. So to do that, what you have to do? First, you have to traverse through each element. Am I right? You have to traverse through, you have to see the elements in the list, and then only you can append the values inside the list. Am I right? So for traversing each element, which we have to use, which concept we have to use?
Miss,
Yeah. Which concept we have to use to traverse through each element in the list? Okay.
print.
We have to use the for loop here or else the while loop here. Okay. So I'm going to use the for loop here. For color in colors. Okay. I'm going to append the color into my new list. Okay, always remember, if it is a string, list, tuple, sets, dictionary, whichever it is, if you want to traverse through each element of the list or each element of whatever it is, you have to use iterative statements here. It can be for or it can be while. Okay. Then you can print the new colors. Then you will be able to see whether it has been copied into your new list or not. Shift enter. So you can see our all elements are copied here. Okay. Any doubts?
By using for loop and while loop also we can do, ma'am.
Yeah. If you are using for loop, you can directly traverse through the list. Okay. So if you are using while loop, what you have to do is you will be using the index value of the list. You have to first find the length of the list. Then according to the length, you will be traversing through the list.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to see about the map. Okay. So are you able to understand the list here?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's see the map function. First one, we are going to see the map function. So the syntax for that is map, then any function which you are going to map with the values. Okay, function, comma, iteratables. Okay. So here what will happen is I'm having one function. Okay, and I'm having set of values which is stored in the list. For each and every value, I have to perform the function. Okay, so for example, I'm having the function square. Okay, so it takes the parameter a. So what I want to do is it should find the square of the value. Okay, so return a star a. Sorry, a double star 2. So which means a square. Okay, so I'm then creating a list some numbers. So let's create the numbers using the lambda function. So I want to create some 5 numbers using the lambda function. How can I do that? How can I do that? Numbers equal to Okay, so let's try that later. So first, numbers equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for each of this number, okay, for each of this number, I want to perform this function. It should perform the square of the each number. So what I can do is, there I can use the map function. Okay, so square number equal to map of, so which function we are going to use here? Square. Okay, then input your function name here. Okay, square, square. And your values, for what are the values you are going to map the square function to? So then put numbers. Okay, now print square number. Now print square number, shift enter. Okay, fine. So let's convert this into list or tuple or sets. I am converting it into set. Okay, so if you are using the list here, it should be converted into somewhat a list or tuples or set here. Okay, so I'm simply converting into the set. Now you can see the values here. Okay, one of the function of set is that your set is unordered and unchangeable. It will not allow any duplicate values. We have seen list, right? In list, you can have the ordered list. How you have entered, like that only your list will be presenting throughout your program. Okay, but when you are using set, what will happen is it will be unordered. Here we have provided 1, 2, 3, 4. But when we are getting the answer, it is not in the ordered form. It will be in the unordered form. Okay, that is one difference for set. And inside the set, you cannot have the, inside the set, you cannot have the two same numbers or two same values. Duplicate values are not allowed inside the set. Okay. So these are the 2 points about set. Always try to remember that. Any doubts here? How your map function works? Any doubts here?
Once can you repeat? I lost
Yeah.
the connection.
Sorry, which one?
I lost the connection due to power issue. So
Okay, fine. So we are going to learn about the function map here. Okay, so for function map, what will happen is it will, we'll be having some multiple values which will be stored in some list or tuples or sets. Okay, so if you want to apply some function to these values, okay, you can use the map. What we'll do is it will apply the function to each and every element. Okay, each and every element, it will apply the function and it will produce the result here. Okay, here I have converted my square num into the set so that it will be stored. If you want to store multiple values, what you can do? You can either use list or tuples or sets. Okay, simply if you are using one variable square number, you may not be able to store multiple values. Okay, so I'm converting here into set so that I can explain what is set here. Okay, so your set, what it will do is your set is an unordered one. If you provide 1, 2, 3, 4, when you're printing the values, it will be in the format of 3, 4, 2, 1 or 2, 3, 1, 4. Likewise, it will be in the unordered one. Likewise, in your set, what will happen is duplicate values are not allowed. So here I'm again entering 4 here. Okay, so let's convert it into list first. Then press enter. So when the list, the duplicate values are allowed. So it is giving the output 16, 16. Now what I'm going to do is I am changing it into the set. So you can see insert duplicate values are not allowed here. Okay. So what will do a map function will do? It will apply some function to each and every element of the iteratables. Okay. Are you able to understand this?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we are going to see how we are going to use map function with the lambda function. Here we have used a separate function, right? So instead of using separate function, we are going to use the map function with the lambda. Okay. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to delete this. Then instead of square, here instead of this function name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lambda function. Okay. LAMBDA, lambda, then x. Okay. Then for each x value, what it should do is x double star 2. Okay. Then it will take this iteratables. Okay. So for each element, it will do this function here. Now I'm running this program. So it produced the same result. You can either use the function which we have discussed yesterday, or you can use the lambda. So it will be finished in the single line. You don't need to create a separate function for that. Okay. So this is how your lambda works. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and for your filter, what will happen is, here I'm having map right. So your filter, what it will do is, it will check some condition. Okay. If I want to print numbers greater than 3, okay, it will check the condition, whichever satisfies the condition. It will only use that values only. Okay. So here I'm having lambda x. Let me change it to x greater than equal to 3. Now I'm running this. So here change it to list. Now run this program. Here what is happening here is, it checks the condition for 1, it is false, so it produced the false. For 2, it is checking the condition whether 2 greater than equal to 3. It checks it, it is false, so it produced the false here. Okay, as for 3, it is true, 4 true, and another 4 true. This is how your map works. Okay, so it will apply the condition, or it will apply the expression to all the elements. Okay, and then it will produce the true or false. If you use the filter, what it will do is, it will only take the elements which evaluate to true. Okay, if I use the filter here, it will only take the elements which evaluates to true. Now I am entering it. So here 3, 4, 4. These 3 elements are only satisfying the condition. Okay, then your filter will produce that 3 elements only. It will avoid the other 2 elements. Are you able to understand the difference between map and filter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So now we are going to see about the reduce function. So for map and filter, we haven't used any modules here. Okay, we haven't used any modules here. As for the reduce, we will be using new modules here. Okay, so let's see how to import a module. We are going to use the function called reduce. So where that function will be stored in your module. Okay, so it will be stored in the module function tools. From function tools, okay, import reduce. This map and filter are all predefined built-in functions in the Python. So we haven't imported any special modules for them. If you are going to use some function which needs to be imported from some modules, Okay. So for that, you have to import the function here. So in the next classes, you will be seeing NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. Those are all the function which is external to Python. Okay. So for that, you have to install the modules and then you have to import the modules. Then only you can use the function which are inside the modules. Okay. So here we are going to use the module function tools to import our reduce function. Okay, so let's see how our reduce works. So till now, our map and filter, they both produce the multiple outputs like 3, 4, 4, false, false, true. Likewise, they have produced the multiple values as an output, right, in the list format or set format. What your reduce will do is it will only produce the single value. Okay, it will only produce the single value. So let's see how your reduce works. So first you have to import this module. Then you have to use some variables. Here what I can do, add equal to reduce. Then here I'm using the lambda function, L-A-M-D-D lambda. So A comma B. So what this function will do is it will add two numbers, A plus B. Okay. Then which are the values we are going to add here? So for that I'm creating the list here. List 1 equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay. So now I am passing this values here, list 1. Then print add. Now I am running this program. It produced the result 6. So what will happen is, what your reduce will do is, when it sees the function, it will go to the list. It will take the first two number, 1, 2. It will add the first two number. It will produce the result 3. Okay. Then it will take another number. So our previous result 3 will be stored in A and our new number 3 will be stored in B. Again, it will add these two numbers and produce the result, which is 6. This is how your reduce will work. Okay. So when you are working on the data science, you can use all these 3 functions together. Okay. So if you're having some string, you can use your map function to whether to convert into the uppercase or lowercase letters, you can convert that. And if you want to filter those strings, if the strings having the letter A, you can use the filter function to that. Okay. And if you want a single result, you can use the reduce function there. Any doubts here? If you have any doubts, you can ask.
One more example for reduce.
Okay. So what your reduce will do is it will only produce the single output. Okay. Unlike map and filter, your reduce will only produce the single output. Okay. So here, for example, let's take this example. Here, again, import the module. Function tools. Import. Reduce. Then what you are going to do is we are going to do some multiplication. Okay. Multiply. What I want to do is I want to multiply all the elements in my list and produce a single value. Okay. So equal to reduce, then lambda A comma B, then A star B comma. So inside here also I can give the values 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 and close the bracket. Here what I want to do is I want to multiply all the numbers. 1 into 2, 2, 2 into 3, 6, 6 into 4, 24. Okay, my answer should be 24. I want to multiply all these values. So this is how your reduce will work. Okay, now print multiply. For able to understand this, first what will happen is it will take this first two numbers. It will store the first two numbers in the lambda function a comma b, 1 comma 2, and then it will multiply the numbers. When it multiply the numbers, what will happen is 1 into 2, 2. Okay, so that result will be stored in our a, and then it will take the another value 3, and that will be stored in our b. Again, it will do the multiplication. 2 3s are 6. Then the 6 will be stored in our a, and then it will take the new value 4, and it will be stored in our b. So 6 4s are 24. Whichever expressions you are mentioning here, it will apply to all the values and will produce the single result. You can do some mathematical computation to your list or tuples. For that, your reduce will be useful. Are you able to understand this now? Or do you need any other
Yes, ma'am.
example? Okay.
Square of numbers.
Square of numbers. That you can, if you want the square of each number, what you can do? You can use the map function here.
Okay.
Okay, that will provide the square of each number. If you want to apply some function to each element,
if we want to,
yes,
yeah, I'm saying like 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square. I want that result.
okay, then you can change the expression here. Okay, you can change the expression here. Plus, if you want the square of the a double star 2 plus b double star 2. Now what will happen? 1 squared plus 2 squared. Okay, and then it will work. Your answer will be like this. Okay, you can do the calculation there. Just you need to change the expression here. If you change the expression, everything will be working. Any other doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if you want to apply some conditions to each and every element, you can use the map. Okay. If you want to filter the elements, okay, then you can use the filter. If you want to do some mathematical computation to all the elements, you can use the reduce. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we are moving on to the list comprehension. List comprehension. There is another function called zip. If you want to make the pair of two lists or two tuples, you can use the function called zip. Okay. So along with this, search what your zip function will do. So list comprehension. So here the syntax for list comprehension is some list name equal to square bracket you have to use here. For list comprehension, you have to use the square bracket here. Then it will be some expression for element. Then you will be using a for loop or if conditions and all in the same line. For loop, if condition, everything will come in the same line. Okay, so let's see an example for list comprehension. Okay, so what are the advantages of list comprehension is if you are going to use some for loop and if condition to do some operations on your list, what we'll be doing is you will be first having the for loop here and then if condition, and then you will do some operation. Okay, it will be like multiple line of code. Your list comprehension will shorten the syntax. Okay, to shorten your list syntax, it will make it easier. Okay, so that our time and the space will be efficiently managed in your system. Okay, and the lines of code will be lesser. Okay, and then you don't need to have the iterative statements line by line. Okay, it will make it like a formula. So that those are all the advantages of list comprehension. Okay, the main thing is that it will be useful to create a new list and it will produce the syntax shorten. So you don't need to write the multiple lines here. For that, you are using the list comprehension. Okay, so here I am having a new list. Okay, new list equal to, it is an empty list. I want to add some values to the list. For example, I want to add some even numbers. How can I generate the even numbers? Any idea? For I in range of, I want to create even numbers.
I plus 1.
Sorry?
I is equals to
Whatever
1.
range function will do. Whatever range function will do. Whatever range function will do. We have the program here. Here, see whatever range function will do.
Defining the values.
Okay, so what is the syntax for our range function?
Start, stop, and step 3.
Okay, so if I want to find the even numbers, what are the even numbers?
2, 4, 6, 8.
Okay, so it starts with 2.
Starts
Okay.
with 2.
Then I want some 12 even numbers. I'll just make it 6 even numbers. Where can I stop there?
You want to stop at 6. Then you have to give 7.
No. I want to stop at,
Like, okay.
For example, I want 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so I want to stop at 14. So what will be my stop value here?
15.
15. Very good. So each and every time it has to jump from, if it is 2, it has to go to 4. If it is 4, it has to go to 6. Then what will be my step value?
1.
1. Okay, so then what is 2 plus 1?
3.
3. So it will move to 3, right? If we added 1 with 2, it will move to 3, right? I wanted it to move to 4, which means you have to add 2 numbers with the value, right? So it is 2. Okay, we end it with colon. Now I'm going to add all the even numbers inside my new list. How can I add that? New list dot append of I. Now I'm going to print. So print should be outside the for loop. Okay. New list. Okay, so if it is inside the for loop, how will our output will be like? See, each and every time when it is adding the value, it will print it. Okay, so we don't need it to print like this. I want the final result only. So I don't want to know what each and every time it is going to do. So I can simply make it outside the for loop. So it will only give the final result. Now we have got the even numbers here. So this is how we will be doing our list, right? So I'm going to shorten this code with the help of list comprehension. Okay, the same code, new underscore list equal to bracket. Okay, so in this place, number. Okay, then for, then just make it I. We have used I in the previous one, right? Let's make it I. For I in range of 2, 15, 2. Okay. Then what you have to do is you have to print the new list. Just copy this and paste it. Make it new list 1. Okay. Shift enter. It is doing the same thing. Okay, so now are you able to
Yes.
understand the list comprehension?
Yeah. To shorten the code.
Yeah. So you have to shorten
In one
the
line.
code here. Now, if you want to add
Yeah.
some conditions here, like the value should be greater than 10, the value should be greater than 4. Likewise, also you can use here. You can add the condition here. If I greater than equal to 5. Run this, so it will produce the result which is greater than 5. Okay, so likewise you can even check the conditions here. Okay, are you able to understand the list comprehension? So these are all basics.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can even use for loop inside another for loop as so. Okay, those are all things. Those things are also possible. Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next we will be moving on to the OOPS concept.